विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर
Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. Thank you for joining us today. First of all, we would like to wish you a very, very happy New Year. Truly happy and blissful New Year in Krishna consciousness. Once again, thank you all for joining this special session, first session of the year. What could be a better way to start our new year than coming together to hear on very, very wonderful topics by wonderful Vaishnavi. We are very, very fortunate, very, very blessed, very, very happy to have our own dear and respected Mother Savitri here with us. Dhanvat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
So very happy. And through Mataji, we'll be receiving a lot of mercy of Shri Shri Panchatattva from Shri Mayapur Dham. Mataji is right now in Shri Dham Mayapur. And from there, Mataji will be giving us nectar today. We'll be starting our new year like this. So happy. Most of us already know about our dear Mataji. She is part of our Richmond Yatra for many, many years, Mataji and Prabhuji. But just for those who do not know Mataji is actually a very senior Vaishnavi in our movement. She's a senior disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj, practicing Bhakti Yoga for many, many decades, and not just practicing. Mataji has been sharing wholeheartedly this Krishna consciousness, this process so compassionately for many, many years with many, many hundreds of souls all over the world. That's, her heart is full of compassion. Mataji is right now in Sri Dham Mayapur, like I said. She's a resident over there. Mataji has been serving Srila Prabhupada's movement in so many different capacities in different temples. Mataji served ISKCON of New Jersey, ISKCON LA, ISKCON Richmond, and now Mataji is serving beautifully in Shri Dham Mayapur, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madhav, Ashtasakhi, Narsimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj. So once again, thank you all. Thank you, Mataji. And today Mataji will be talking about determination in Krishna consciousness. So that's very, very important topic, as you know, with new year or new beginning, we always tend to seek determination in whatever we want to do in future. So without any further ado, Mataji, over to you. Please guide us from here.
Thank you so much, Divanam Prabhu. Mahatma, no, Kulashikar. I see you. Thank you, everyone. This is Savitri Devidasi. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity for serving Supreme Lord by glorifying Him, as well as serving the devotees. I'm just an insignificant servant of Shishi, Gauranga and Gurudev, Guru Gauranga. So today's topic is determination in Krishna consciousness. Okay, before saying anything, let us do the Mangala Charanam. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasana Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Today we are going to read one verse from chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita as it is, where Krishna is speaking about that determination or resolute in purpose, a strong desire, intense desire to pursue Krishna consciousness. He talks about it. So it is true, without having any goal, we cannot make any advancement. So goal, try to understand the goal is first point, or what is the meaning of determination? Why do we need to succeed in our lives? What is the use of it in our bhakti life? This determination element is already within us. We use it. Now we have to use it in Krishna consciousness. How can we use it? What is that determination? Do we really need it? Without it, I can progress? No, sir. So let's try to understand Krishna's point, why it is so important first. And then we'll understand what is, if we do not understand the value of having determination, we would not apply it. Or what is the benefit of having that determination? We would not do it. Although we are using it in everyday life. Okay? So this is a verse from second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Text number 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha Guru Nandana Bahu Shakha hi anantascha buddhayo yavavyasayinam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. The purport is really very nice. We will read part by part. Purport: a strong faith that by Krishna consciousness, one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, 62, text number 62 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Shudrira Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Kritaha. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family traditions, humanity, or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection in Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. So we have general understanding of determination. Determination means being very fixed up. No matter what, I would pursue it. In my good days or in my bad days, I would do it. Just like we understand the value of earning money. Why? And we are very much fixed up in that determination. If there's an opportunity, we immediately take it. Or if I'm offered a good job anywhere, we'll be ready to move that part of the country, or take up any risk, any challenge to earn more money. Why? Or to have good education in good university. Why? Because that will give us so much facility in life, so we can have very comfortable life. We know the result, and we are really, really very fixed up in this determination. We have intense desire, goal. We set the goal very firmly, and then whatever challenges come, we accept. Whatever tests come, we accept, and we are ready to do the hard work. So the same principle is needed in Krishna consciousness. Why then we are not that much enthusiastic, utsaha, and with so much determination, drirata, drira nishchaya, and dharyat, and patience. Three things always go together for any goal of life that we want to achieve. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness means that this human life is so valuable. If we properly use the human life, then we'll achieve what we have not achieved in any lives from time immemorial. That's why we are still here within the cycle of birth and death. These two things must be understood side by side. If I do not desire to pursue Krishna consciousness seriously, sincerely, then what happens? We'll still remain here, stuck within the vicious cycle of birth and death. Actually, we do not perceive the real suffering over here, going through again and again birth, death, and threefold miseries is very, very, it's called severe suffering. When we become old and when we have diseases, then we understand. And death, dying process or death, really very painful process. I personally experienced, I've seen it, how helpless a person could be when the person goes through this process. It's not easy, very painful. Same thing will happen to me and will happen to everyone. Is there any solution for it? Yes. What is the solution? Pursue Krishna consciousness, accept Krishna consciousness and follow the principles of Krishna consciousness. But I'm not so much enthusiastic and serious. What is the reason for that? Reason is I'm not understanding the real fearful situation over here, samsara davanal. And for the solution, I'm not that much eager because I don't understand, perceive the value. Value is the problem from time immemorial we are having can be solved in this lifetime. Whatever time is there left for me, within this time, we can make the solution. Forever. Okay, it is not this just all for problem solving. It is for higher life. What is that? The spiritual life in the spiritual world. Our real life, or our life in the spiritual kingdom of Krishna. With him, we can live there happily, a blissful life, a life of knowledge and life of happiness or bliss eternally. That should be our goal. And side benefit is the problem solution or problem solving thing. It is side benefit. Our goal is how to go there, be transferred to the eternal world where there's no birth, death, old age and diseases and no miseries. And the life is always blissful, full of knowledge, full of eternality. That should be our goal. So setting the goal and understanding the future life, which is attainable for us, is the first step. If we understand the value, like having good education, having good job, and earning a lot of money will make our life comfortable. We believe in that. Completely convinced about it. Similarly, if we become completely convinced about that eternal life is awaiting us, blissful life in the association of Shri Radha, Krishna, and the devotees in the Golok Dham is awaiting us, and it is attainable in this lifetime if I just apply the same principle in the spiritual life. Then really it is so, in process also very joyful, But in this material life, process is not joyful. It's a really, really hard work. You may succeed or you may not succeed. But it is sure success. Because Krishna helps us. If we just start a little bit, having this full conviction, by having full conviction into Krishna's words, and by the help of Guru, Vaishnava, Shastra, Sadhu, if we just pursue a little bit, we'll get so much help from all around. We hear Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastimes in Golok Vrindavan, how the devotees are there so happy. I want that kind of life. Anxiety-free life, always happiness, no work, no hard work. We should be enchanted. We should be greedy. We should be desiring that kind of life in Golok Dham. How they're enjoying life there. So that is the goal. Can I go there? Yes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us the process. Just have full determination, fully convinced, and then give yourself into the process, you'll go back to the spiritual world. And side benefit is the cessation of miseries, cessation of the cycle of birth and death. This is not our goal actually, but it is to be understood in the first step, because we are so much under suffering. So we want immediately the removal of suffering. We cannot pursue the next higher life. Is there a life we cannot even believe? Is there a life without any of suffering? Who are really going through so much suffering and pain, they would not believe. Our life is so wonderful actually in Krishna consciousness. We don't feel any trouble, any suffering, what other persons or other living beings are going through. Severe punishments in the form of suffering. Adi Bhautik Adi Daivik Adhyatmik. So here, Srila Prabhupada is helping us, our Acharya. If we have the complete faith that Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Kritahar. Now Bhakti. If we perform Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, devotional service to Krishna, then all my activities will be successful. This firm conviction we must have. Means bhakti are two kinds. One is vidhi, Vaidhi bhakti, one is spontaneous. Means when the attachment or affection for Krishna awakens, then we automatically, spontaneously do the same bhakti. When in the beginning, according to the rules and regulation, we do. And it is needed. We should not, avoid it and desire the perfection. It is not possible. So now, few words about it. This bhakti process, what we are going through, can be very relishable even in the beginning stage. Shri Krishna said, Susukham kartum avayam. How? If we realize the relationship with Krishna is so natural and eternal, always natural, always there. Mama Ivangsha Jivaloke, we are already Krishnas. If we have that conviction inside, then everything will be so smooth and pleasant. Krishna is not outsider, or Krishna is not stranger to us. We are already Krishnas. I was Krishnas before, I am now Krishnas, and I'll be Krishnas. I'll remain Krishnas. Means there's no way that we would not be Krishnas. When we have that, then easily we pursue. and intimacy grows. That we are already Krishna's. Krishna says, you are mine. When we realize this point, even a little bit, and start devotional service, Krishna consciousness, Krishna makes us his own. And Krishna becomes our own. Because connection is this, just like mother and child. Relationship never ever be disconnected. It's eternal. How can it be disconnected? There's no factual connection with this world for us. It is always disconnection, eternally. And factual connection is always with Krishna. If we realize this, then we will not be so much attached to this world. Our eternal family is also already there in the spiritual world. Here we are going through so many different lives and going through so many different families, right? Here, this present family also would not remain with us forever. We'll be separated because we were never connected actually. Just for the time being we are together, we'll be separated. But just imagine in the spiritual world, we have our eternal family there. Just like all the devotees in the Golok Dham, they're also from some families, isn't it? The Gopas, the Gopis, the cows, whatever. Krishna is also has his own family. Our family is there, which is our eternal family, and we'll join there. When we realize our eternal life, then we'll pursue very steadily to achieve that eternal life, joyful life, all that, joyful life, eternal life just awaiting us. This is our goal. Now the side point. Srimad Bhagavatam says how many ways we can perform devotional service. Devotional service is the real point here. We must be very determined to pursue the devotional service to attain the goal, because that is my birthright. And in this human life, we can attain it. And it is attainable. And we can make the solution of all our problems. If we understand these 2 points, then we'll be very much serious about it. So bhakti, Srimad Bhagavatam says, essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is bhakti to Krishna. How many ways we can perform bhakti? 9 ways. 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. This dharma or bhakti is Bhagavata. It is known as Bhagavata dharma. Another dharma is there, which is called Varnashram dharma. One thing is Varnashram dharma, another thing is Bhagavad dharma. And Krishna here is speaking about the Bhagavad dharma. Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, thinking oneself as the servant of Krishna, Dasyam, Sakhyam, being friend of Krishna and accepting Krishna as my friend, and Atmanivedanam, and completely surrendering unto Krishna. Completely surrendering means your body, mind, senses, soul, intelligence, everything, because it was already Krishna's. It was always Krishna's. Body was always Krishna's. Senses were always Krishna's. Mind, buddhi. Sometimes we struggle for surrendering. Actually, if we realize Krishna is claiming his own property, where's the problem? Krishna says, you are mine, right? And then he says, Sarvadharman Paritajamam, Ekam Sharanam Braja. He's claiming his own property now, own thing. So why there will be any problem? I was always his property. You are mine. It's like if someone keeps something with me, and then after a few years, he says, can you give me back that one? So easily I will give it, because I never thought of that it was mine. It was that my friends or who has given me. Krishna has given me the life. Mamai Bangsha Jivaloke. I am his part and parcel. Already we are Krishna's property. So when he is claiming back, saying that, give me back, give me your Manmana Bhava, Mad Bhakta, Madhyaji Mam Namaskar. Give me your mind, give me your intelligence, give yourself, Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, only to me, because you are solely mine, completely, you are mine. So give completely yourself to me. So there's no problem. Surrendering is no problem if we realize I was always Krishna's property. He's just claiming his own property back. And in this regard, there's always benefit. This is my real interest. If we do not understand what is our real interest over here, then we would not pursue. We would not have that determination. Because we are driven by this desire. What is my real interest here? Self-interest. Without being swarthi, we cannot become paramarthi. Real swarth is swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Krishna is our swarth. Swartha means swa artha. Swa means me. Artha means beneficial. मतलब क्या है? मुझसे मेरे लिए मतलब में कुछ भी क्या मिलेगा? लाभ क्या है? मेरे लिए लाभ क्या है? स्वार्थ. Krishna is my swartha. Nate vidu swartha gatimi Vishnu. The ignorant people, they do not know what is the real self-interest in their lives. Real self-interest is Krishna. If I attain Krishna, I'll be transferred to this Golok Dham. That is our real interest. That is also Paramartha. And for that, Bhagavad Dharma is in place. Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking, mainly chanting. Surrendering unto Krishna means also surrendering unto the chanting, Mahamantra. Now, try to understand what is Bhagavad Dharma and Varnashram Dharma. See, the story comes in 6th canto, Ajamil story, very instructive. That story gives us the determination we need. How? We know Ajamil once was a very Pakka Brahman, following Varnashram Dharma exactly. He was a Brahmana son, and he was engaged in daily rituals like worshipping, performing yagna, having pure life, following rules and regulations. Because Varnashram Dharma based on 4 division of occupation and 4 division of spiritual status, right? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, occupational division according to occupation, and ashram, brahmachari, grihastha, vanprastha, and sannyas. And dharma in the varnashram system always changing. How? You are brahmachari, you are not married, do not you even think of any girl or boy. Then when you are 25, get married. How? I don't know. Get married. 25 years for you, for married life. You are 50, you are changed. Now give up family, go to the forest, husband, wife. For how many years? 25. Severe austerity go through. See the changing Varnashram system. Varnashram dharma is changing according to your ashram. After 25, 75, give up your wife, husband, alone, go alone. Alone approach Krishna and go back to the spiritual world alone. You came to this world alone. See, so much changing, changes are there according to your varna, and ashram. So Ajamil was well situated in his dharma, in his Brahmanical culture, Brahmanical dharma, in his ashram. Unfortunately, he became completely contaminated, fallen down to a very degraded life. As we know the story, he gave up his duly married young wife and gave up his old parents and led very abominable life. But he had so many children, 10 sons. And youngest son's name was Narayan. When he was 88 years old, the child was only 5-year-old boy. So when his end of life came at the time of death, very helplessly he called out, whose name? His son's name, Narayan. By hearing the Narayan name, because he saw very terrible looking, the messengers of Yamaraj came to extricate his soul from the body by force. So he was very much afraid. And out of fear, he called out his son's name, Narayan. By hearing the Lord's name, Narayan, immediately 4 messengers of Vishnu Dutas appeared, and they rescued him from the Yamadutas because they were trying to arrest the soul of Ajamil. And when they defeated, the Vishnu Dutas defeated the Yamadutas, and they asked some questions that, oh, Vishnu Dutas, why are you stopping us? Because this Ajamil was very sinful person. And on the order of Yamaraja, we are here to take him to the court of Yamaraj for his severe punishment. He needs that. He's entitled for punishment. And the Vishnu Dutta says, what kind of punishment? Can you define what is dharma? Who is punishable and who is not punishable according to your law of code of dharma? Then say, he did this. So he's entitled to go to the hell for punishment. But the Vishnu Dutta says, he did nothing. There's no record of his bad karma in the office of Yamaraj. Why? Because he chanted Narayan's name. See that Bhagavad Dharma supersedes the Varnashram Dharma. He was indeed entitled for severe punishment, but it nullified everything. He got free. Then he became so determined by hearing the conversation between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutta, he became enlightened. Then that portion, I'm just reading a little bit, it will, enlighten us very nicely to pursue Krishna consciousness in our lives. See, Ajamil was saying that first he says how he realized that because of his sinful activities, the Yamadutas were dragging to the court of Yamaraj for punishment. Then he says in the 29th, 6th canto, chapter 2, 29, it is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and must there suffer extreme misery. This is law of karma, Varnashram. Although in the Varnashram system, if one performs very meticulously, perfectly Varnashram Dharma, still where he goes, Tapalok, Maharlok. although there is a chance to do bhakti, but naturally, generally they go higher planetary systems. So in our case, from time immemorial, many times we went upward, Brahmaloka even again came down. Innumerable times we did it. Innumerable times we received human body, but we did not take care of Krishna consciousness. Now, for that reason, this life we must take care of our Krishna consciousness. It's not that this is the only life we have gotten as a human being and came in contact with Krishna consciousness. No. We came before also, but did not take it seriously. That's why we are still here. We may degrade further, or we may go upward up to different upper places system. But in order to enter into the spiritual sky, we have to be very determined. Except in the Bhagavad Dharma. So he said that I must suffer. But what happens? Miracle happens. What is that? 35. He was released from that noose that Yamadutas were trying to take him. Then he got enlightenment. He understood because he heard the conversation between Yamaduta and Vishnuduta. So that is the whole chapter. Now what he says, the determination part. 35. I'm such a sinful person, but since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life, and senses, and always engage in devotional service, so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness of ignorance of material life. We may say, oh, he was very sinful. I'm not that sinful. Okay, fine. He was so sinful from sin, being so sinful. He got a chance to go back to the Vaikuntha. So we must have. We also can, we can also go there. If we try, then we can go. If we understand, if we have the determination, we can go. That's confidence we must have. 36, 37, because Ajamil continuing, right? He is now determined. What is his determined? I must completely control my mind, life, and senses, and always engage in devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness and ignorance of material life. 36, 37, because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to desires for sense gratification, and thus one engages in many different types of pious and impious action. This is what constitutes material bondage. In Varnashram system also we do sometimes pious, sometimes impious. Transcendental work means work for Krishna. Now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage. This is determination, which has been caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy. Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy in the form of a woman. Being a most fallen soul, I was victimized by the illusory energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lusty desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well-wishing friend to all living entities and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. 38 is very nice. Simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, means Vishnudutas, my heart is now becoming purified. Therefore, I shall not fall victim again to the false lures of material sense gratification, now that I have become fixed in the absolute truth. Henceforward, I shall not identify myself with the body. I shall give up false conceptions of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Very inspiring story. Very inspiring story. We don't have to become that fallen person to become inspired. But we must be captivated with the information that I can have better life. Just the way from India we migrated to America. For what reason? In search of good life, better life, comfortable life, higher life, right? Now, further, just increase the desire, the best life possible is going to the spiritual. Because we do not understand the value of practicing Krishna consciousness sincerely, fully, seriously, and it is attainable because Krishna helps us all the way, Gurudev helps us all the way to the goal, achieving the goal. So this is the point that we can, having the vision that we can achieve that. My eternal family is waiting there for me. Krishna is waiting. That's why Krishna said. So I'm just finishing the purport which I started 41. Very clear point. Krishna, Srila Prabhupada said, now please hear it very attentively. What is the perfectional stage of devotional service here, or human life? The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. What knowledge? Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudhita. These two lines, we must make it as a part of life. Mamaivangsha Jivaloke, we are Krishna's. He is claiming, Krishna is claiming, you are mine. So you become Krishna's. All problems are solved. Krishna will help us. This is beyond even sadhana. Routine sadhana, I mean to say. Realizing we are already Krishna's. So just become Krishna's. And the second verse is, Krishna is my everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva is my everything. Srila Prabhupada is writing in the translation. Knowing that Krishna is the cause of all causes and all their is. Because the pure devotee's consciousness is absorbed in Krishna so much, he sees only Krishna. This is the perfectional stage. And that will take us to the spiritual world. So Prabhupada is emphatically writing, the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudhulava. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches. So by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. This gives us so much determination because we want that. One should be upset with me, angry with me, having an enmity with me. We do not like it. When Krishna is satisfied, everything is all right. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission of life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows: Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad, yasya prasadan nagati kito, dhyayan stubham stasya yasyas tri sandhyam bande guroshri charanaravinda. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. Guru Krishna. Guru Krishna, both are transcendental. Guru Parampara Krishna. Our mind should be attached to transcendental personalities. Guru Krishna, Guru Parampara Krishna. Envision yourself in the spiritual world. Envision yourself in Golokdham. You are one of them, playing with Krishna or having friendship with Krishna or having Krishna as a child. We choose Krishna to love him. That makes Krishna so much. When you choose someone to love, even, we see people choose a dog to love, choose a cat to love, serve, and the cat and dog, they also reciprocate. So when we choose Krishna to love as my friend, to choose Krishna as my master, to choose Krishna as my child or my beloved, my lover, my husband. Anyway, we choose Krishna, so happy, and he reciprocates. He also loves us that way. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tangstateva bhajami. So we should not have any discouragement. We should not have any hopelessness. We should not have any, doubt about it. Person to person, heart to heart, relationship is Krishna consciousness. Guru Krishna. So last portion, the whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically, but practically. What does it mean? I'm Krishna's. I was Krishna's. I am Krishna's. Now I shall remain Krishna's. It's beyond body, isn't it? Because it's eternal. Whether I'm in this body, whether I'm in this world, or whether I'm in the spiritual world, or whether I'm in different body, in demigod's body, or a cat's body or dog's body, I'm still Krishna. I was Krishna. It's beyond the conception of body. See, everyone is also Krishna's. My family is a part of Krishna's family. My country is part of Krishna's family, Krishna's country. In this way, you Krishnized everything. Srila Prabhupada, right? Krishnized everything. You become yourself Krishnized, you make others Krishnized. Have the vision of Krishna's vision. Everyone is Krishna's, so Krishnized. They see Krishna all around because everything is Krishna's. Matter is Krishna's. Earth, water, air, fire, ether, Krishna's. I'm Krishna. All living beings Krishna. Krishna is. So beyond the bodily conception of God, eternally Krishna. Beyond the time, beyond the space. Not theoretically, but practically. When there's no longer a chance for sense gratification, because when someone is Krishna's, I should not dominate that person. He's Krishna's. He's Krishna's. Dog is Krishna's. Cat is Krishna's. Also, Krishna is accompanying that person. That nature would not be there, dominating, lording it over sense gratification. It's for my sense pleasure. Using anyone, no. There's no longer chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of creative. Also, the meaning of having determination means I have only one shelter, one goal. Their aim is one, not multi-branch. One. Oh, I have aimed this, I have aimed that. No. Master of none. Trades of all, master of none. No. One. I'm Krishna's. Only one. Identification. One. I'm Krishna's. My life is for Krishna. And my aim is only to attain Krishna Prem. For that, I'm ready. Whatever it takes, I'll do it. In this lifetime, this golden opportunity I have gotten, I should not miss it. I should not waste it. I should not ruin it. Fully utilize and achieve the goal of life. That determination we must have in order to achieve success in our life. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. We tried to understand this. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so very much, Mataji, for this really, really wonderful discussion. As I was just thinking, as you were talking about conviction, just by seeing your conviction of what you were talking is really, really very, very inspiring. But Mataji, just one question comes to mind. As your whole talk was so nicely progressive, meaning you mentioned that before we build the determination, we have to have a good understanding about our goal. And to have a good understanding about our goal, we have to have conviction in our goal. That what are we trying to achieve? You know, I will be eternally happy. And you so beautifully gave this analogy that we have determination in earning money because we are convinced that it will give us happiness. We are so determined in our education because we are convinced that education will give me happiness in life. So Mataji, the question comes to mind is that we can easily get convinced of these things because these things are on a bodily platform. Like, you know, we understand what comfort to the body is, and we want that comfort. So we get easily convinced of that comfort and we work with determination for that comfort because we are convinced. Now, because we are not at the level of soul, how to get convinced of something which is beyond bodily level, meaning spiritual or transcendental? We are not there yet. So how do we get convinced of that when we are in this bodily concept of life? What are some of the practical ways we can develop this conviction in our life? If you can just elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, that Prabhupada is saying. We are soul. We have to realize. Actually, it is very natural. It is very natural because we are already soul. Many times we have this, question. How can I realize that I'm soul? Very nicely, Prabhupada said, Prabhupada's formula is the perfect formula. What is the difference between dead body and living body? In one body, there's soul, another body, there's no soul. So because of the presence of the soul, my body is acting, I'm speaking, I'm hearing. Who is activating the body? That is soul. Which leaves the body? That is soul. That we saw, actually. As soon as the soul left, body is dead. So convinced. Okay. I'm not the body, also very easy to understand. I was a small body, growing up body, young body, now old body. This body will be taken away. Then again, new body. Dehinasmi yatha dehe. So as a human being, this is the prime goal to realize I'm not the body, then I'm something. What is that? I'm Atma, spirit, soul. And death is unnatural for us. We believe it. I don't die. I would not die. I'm seeing others die. I would not die. Why this disbelief is there? Because it is unnatural for the soul. The death is the unnatural thing for the soul. Right now, if I say I'm not understanding that I'm that soul, I'm just living in the bodily plane, how can I transcend the body, bodily, um, bodily conception of life? It's also not difficult because it is the reality. It is called Bhaktivinoda Thakur's language, Sahaj Bhakti. Like Bhagavat Prapti is not difficult at all because Bhagavan is always here. Bhagavan is eternally here. Krishna is everywhere. Bhagavat Prem Prapti is also not difficult. What is difficult? The determination is difficult. Being convinced is difficult. Being very much steadfast is difficult. Having the intense desire to pursue spiritual life is difficult. But Bhagavat Prapti is not difficult. Bhagavat Prem is not difficult. Even going back to Krishna is not difficult. Because he is always there, always. Our connection is also there, always. Like by doing something, I would not become a soul. I'm already the soul. By acting some way, I would not be the eternal servant of Krishna. I'm already a servant of Krishna. Eternal truth, which is eternal, sahaj. Just be enlightened, being enlightened by the reality. This is reality. We think by doing this, acting this way, I'll achieve something. It is also wrong. Everything is there. Like a very wealthy person's child thinks I'm poor, very poor. He is not poor. He's already a rich person. It needs a little realization. When he grows up, becomes mature, he realizes, oh, I'm a son of a wealthy person. And my father is having a big business. And father is just waiting for the right time. He will hand over the business to the son. But the same son, when he's small, he would not realize that he was really a rich person. Always protected by the father's love. Our case is that we do not achieve anything. We just realize the truth and we become that. Like we are already Krishnas. It's not that by doing this, by following that, I will become Krishnas. No, we're already Krishnas. Now, how to be, even then it is required to become Krishnas. What does that mean? To become Krishnas? Man mana bhava mad bhakto, become mine. Why? What is there to make us become Krishnas? Only taking full shelter of Krishna, one-pointed devotion or without deviation. Krishna very naturally saying, you are mine. So I have to just say, yes, I am yours. It is as simple as that. In the world, we see a girl marries an unknown man. For me, myself, unknown person. How? We marry an unknown person. Immediately, relationship is established permanently. The girl leaves the father's house, goes to the husband's house. If a girl is very poor, suppose from a poor family, from the day she was married, she's rich. If the husband is rich, automatically. So we can become Krishnas. Now, bodily conception of life that we have from time immemorial, that's why it is difficult. But the more we focus on Krishna Katha, reading from Bhagavatam, Gita, and hearing Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Dharma releases us from all those contaminations. See, Ajamil was calling out his son, saying Narayan. Although He was remembering also Narayan. That's why he got the Namabhas benefit. The holy name already released him from all contamination. How? The bodily contamination also there. Released everything. Released him from all the misconceptions. So chanting actually is the real, real point over here. Your answer is chanting. See, the 7 benefits are there in the first stanza. Mahaprabhu says, Chetadarpana Marjana means you become released from the bodily conception of life. You can perceive that you are eternal part of Krishna, which is not according to your body, according to your soul. The soul was part of Krishna, still soul is part of Krishna, remain part of Krishna. So you transcend bodily conception. Body is not real point here. Soul is moving body to body. But as Krishna means this body can be offered to Krishna. Whole thing. So chanting gives us 7 benefits in the first stanza. The realization of the soul, realization of Krishna and our relationship. First is Chetadarpana Marjanam. All anarthas are right where anarthas are removed. Chetadarpana Marjanam. First, the holy name, Bhagavad Dharma. Surrendering unto Krishna is Bhagavad Dharma. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Bhagavad Dharma. Someone asked that other day, law of nature is very unforgiving. Yes. If someone did the wrong things, he should be punished, right? So it should be continued like that. Then how? Question is no, sir. Bhagavad Dharma is there to make it stop. You surrender unto Krishna, you are released. You chant Hare Krishna, you are released. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also is a surrender to holy name. Surrender to holy name. So that's why Mahaprabhu said, you chant, I chant. So I'm surrendered to Mahaprabhu. Krishna said, you surrender to me. We are struggling. So same Krishna came as Mahaprabhu said, okay, forget about it. Can you chant? Yes. So I'm following Mahaprabhu, means I'm surrendered. Who is Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna. So chanting, first benefit is you are free from, you become free from anarthas, which is creating impediments. Chetadarpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni. Because of the anarthas, we are suffering in the sansar davanal, completely extinguished. So we must have the faith, conviction, because Krishna said, that's why it is true, not according to my intelligence. How it is possible? There's no need to think that way. Because Krishna said, so it must come. Then, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Do we perceive the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Ananda Samudra, that increasing every moment? Try to meditate on the first stanza of Shikshashtakam. It's very important, very, very important. Do we perceive chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Ananda Ambudhi, ocean of Ananda, happiness, bliss, increasing every step. Not only that, Purna Amrita Aswadanam. Krishna is Purnam, Krishna is Purnam Amrita. We taste the nectarian, nectar of Ananda. Amrita gives us the immortality of Aswadanam. We taste, we experience. So that means your questions answer is give yourself in chanting. Rest of the things the holy name will do. You would even realize, oh, so easily I'm understanding and now everything is so clear. Holy name will enable us to achieve that. Then second stanza, in Bhajana Rasa, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, for 1 month, you just meditate on first stanza for 1 month before you chant. Always meditate the 7 benefits. Be very convinced about second The holy name has all potencies. So when you chant, all potencies descend in you. So the power of holy name will remove whatever impediments you are going through or doubts. All. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. How beautifully you summarized two holy names. It's just so amazing. Thank you very much. So as we know that it is getting a little late for you, but if you have
It's
few
okay,
more...
but
Okay.
if others, yeah.
Yes. So we would like to see if anyone has any questions here, so Mataji can answer. Please raise your hands if you have any questions. Then in the same order you can ask the questions. Okay, so if not any questions, then maybe we can...
Navina Radha
has a question. Oh yeah, Navina Radha Mataji has a question. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. It was very, very, very nice class. Yes, Mataji, I have a question. Like, as you said that we have to follow the, we have to determine and then follow the Krishna consciousness seriously. So even though we studied everything, we know all this, but only problem is how to align ourselves to this. Even though after reading again and again, we still we cannot properly aligned to the how we have to be. We are not aligned. Sometimes we just go here and there, sometimes I don't know how to keep track of that. Very
sit down. Well, how you say your child, sit down, study here. Study. Give yourself a time. So this much we have to. Krishna is expecting, because Krishna gave us little independence. How you use this independence, Krishna will not dictate that. He gave us this independence, because without independence, we would not love him voluntarily. Otherwise, we would be robots. Krishna consciousness ultimately is nothing but loving Krishna. Do you want to love Krishna? Then you'll find a way. If you love your child, you will find a way. You will get time for your child, no matter what. If you love your wife, if you love your husband, if you love your family, if you love your children, you will find time for them. It doesn't matter how busy you are. It's a matter of, so Krishna consciousness can be understood in this way. Am I interested in loving Krishna? That's the way I said before. Choose Krishna to love. Already he is ours. If you do not love your child, you will neglect your child. Simple. We neglect our spiritual life because we don't want to have this loving relationship. In this way, our mind, ruined our life for time immemorial because of this wicked mind, uncontrolled mind. Mind says something more important is there than loving Krishna, having a loving relationship with Krishna, utilizing the human life properly to pursue Krishna consciously, to be transferred to the spiritual world. This is not that important. Something material which is perishable and temporary, that is more important. We exhaust our time, our energy, our will, our desire, all for material purpose, which is so temporary and perishable and binding us. Same principle, if you follow Krishna consciousness, you'll be liberated, go back, and you will achieve the eternal life. We are not properly convinced, or we don't want to be convinced. We get rasa over here, pleasure. We don't get the rasa over there. This is our ignorance, and punishment is severe. We'll be stuck here forever until we become serious. For example, Bhagavatam says, beautiful example. Maharaj Bharat was the Chakravarti emperor, right? Of the whole planet. He was very elevated, well knowledgeable Shastri Gyan, elevated devotee. He went to the forest, almost on the Bhava stage, just prior to Prema stage. But unfortunately, he voluntarily deviated his mind from Krishna to an animal. Okay, he was so compassionate, fine, up to certain time, but he voluntarily allowed to ruin his spiritual life. He was completely deviated. He stopped performing bhakti and everything and totally being attached, absorbed with the deer. What happened? His total absorption was only about deer. This is the very critical point, dangerous point. Where is our absorption? Staying in this world is not the problem. World is not the causing us bondage, our attachment, our absorption. Staying in the family life is not the cause of our bondage or absorption, attachment. Total mind is involved in the family life. That is most dangerous. Anyway, he did it at the time of death. He thought of the deer and he became the deer. This is law of nature. Law of nature will not forgive you. You thought the state of consciousness was at the time of death was in the deer. Deer is a motive in the ignorance, an animal body. So he had to become a baby of a deer. He was born in a deer family. So the knowledge, what he acquired in the Maharaj Bharat life, he could not utilize in deer body. He did not utilize properly his independence and his knowledge for the purpose of attainment of Krishna, Prema, or Krishna. He misused, he became a deer. But Krishna kept his memory, so he can rectify. He could not utilize, he gave up the deer body thinking of Krishna, so he got the human body again as a Jadbara, the youngest son of a Brahman. In that life, he utilized the education, spiritual knowledge, what he learned in the life of Jadbharat. In that life, he did not utilize properly. Means utilizing means up to the point of death, you have to pursue. He could not. He did not. In dear life, he could not. In third life, in Jadbharat life, he used. He became very alert not to misuse his independence, completely surrendered within, completely devoted to Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, never forgetting Krishna, which is the topmost instruction of the Vedic wisdom. Always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu bismartabhya na jatati. He followed that. So he used the transcendental knowledge in his third life as Jadbharat. And then he got the success and went back to the spiritual world. So we are purposely, this is the same example. Maharaj Bharat, what he did, he purposely allowed everyone in his spiritual life. Here we have many deer, isn't it? He had only one deer to take care of. We have many deer. And we are allowing them to take our precious absorption away from Krishna. Deviation from Krishna. I'm allowing my mind to be deviated from Krishna Where is my absorption? This is the most critical thing. A serious person will be always watchful, careful. Yugaitam nimisheno chakshusha pravishaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. Even for a moment, if I forget Krishna, feels, oh, as if for years I have not remembering Krishna. This kind of pain they feel. One person said, the moment you do not remember Krishna by remembering his holy name, or chanting, or remembering his Leela in any way, understand, feel, and lament that I have lost such a great wealth of remembering Krishna, and be sad as if your son has died. That great loss, pain. Because devotee's life is Krishna, all in all, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Their absorption is always manmana bhava mad bhakto, machitta satatam bhava, mayi arpita mano buddhi, ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashaha, tasaham sulabha partha nitya yukta sadyogina. Krishna in Gita says, ananya cheta satatam smarati nityasha tasya aham sulabh partha. Krishna is easily attainable to that person. So it is up to you how you utilize your independence. No one will do it for you. Just like Maharaj Bharat had to do by himself in the third line. So if we do not properly utilize this independence that Krishna has given to come back to him, then in some other lives, but I have to do myself. Otherwise, consequences. Okay?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay, so wonderful.
The responsibility.
Yes, big responsibility.
Only responsibility. Only responsibility.
That's true.
Other responsibility is not other responsibility. This is not
Yes.
So beautifully summarized.
Very, very nicely explained, right? Thank you so much.
So it looks like we do not have any more